Chapter 33 The Roaring Twenties. Back to normal or not. World War I left a scar on American life. 1. The economy. When soldiers returned home, the government didn't need extra workers to make supplies for them anymore. It led to high unemployment. 2. Labor. Wage and price had been kept down during the war. After the war, price went up, but not wage, leading to strikes. 3. Nativism and racism. With the lack of jobs, racism and anti-immigrant feelings increased. They are taking our jobs. The Red Scare. Americans were afraid the communist takeover in Russia would repeat itself in the US and put an end to capitalism. This led to Red Scare, appeal of communists were red. And other radicals, when bombing two set of bombing in April and June 1919, including one bomb mailed to Palpel's home. When bombings took place across the country, Red were blamed, and Attorney General Michelle Talmer led the Palmer raid, but no major discoveries were ever made. One suspected communist, socialist, and anarchist, often without warrant. Labor unions were deemed communist organizations, and when workers began to strike, violent government intervention was seen as justified. Socialism, a system in which property and the means of production are owned and controlled by the state. The trial and execution of Nicola Sacco and Bartolomeo Rangetti suggests that the Red Scare had a nativist foundation. The two Italian-born anarchists were sentenced to death for killing two men during a robbery. They probably didn't get a fair trial. Harding's Republicanism. Americans wanted to return to the normal way of life before the war. During the 1920 presidential election, Warren G. Harding, a Republican senator from Ohio, made his idea his campaign promise. A strong believer in small government, as president, he established income tax reduction, especially for the wealthy and high therapies. Tipper Dome. Harding appointed his friends from Ohio, many of whom were unqualified and corrupt, to important positions. Secretary of Interior Albert Paul was convinced of accepting bribes from oil executives for rights to drill on government land in Tipper Dome, Wyoming, which became known as the Tipper Dome scandal. When Harding died of a heart attack on August 2, 1923, his vice president, Calvin Coolidge, became president. Calvin Coolidge. Coolidge was seen as quiet and honest. He believed in laissez-faire, non-intervention, laissez-faire economy, and tried to keep the government out of the economy. He was re-elected in 1924 on the strength of his beliefs in minimal government, high tariffs, and low taxes. Coolidge is known for the Kellogg Brand Pact of 1928, which made war illegal. more than 60 nations signed the agreement, but think about it. How do you impose something that says you can't fight? In 1924, the Yale College was re-elected. Nearly to Ross, Wyoming, and Marima and Ferguson of Texas were elected the nation's first female governors. In 1916, Janet Rankin had become the first woman elected to the U.S. Congress. Automobiles. By the 1920s, prosperity was on the rise again, which means Americans wanted to own fancy new things like Henry Ford's Model T automobile, the Tin Lizzie. Ford made the price of his car affordable using the assembly line system and let customers pay on an installment plan. How automobile affected American life. People got jobs, more good pay on automobile plants. Industries that supplied material for cars, glass, steel, fuel, etc. for fast. Other industrial used Ford's mass production practicals. Easier commute means more people could move to the suburbs. The travel industry and the roadside restaurant and highway construction boomed. All that jazz. People had shorter workdays, more leisure time, and live for today attitude. Young people moved to the cities. The excitement and modernity of this time period gave it a nickname of Roaring 20. Radio became a part of every home. Radio networks like NBC and CBS made sure that Americans from coast to coast listened to the same program and ads. The film industry grew. Hollywood became the center of a major industry. Talkies, as opposed to silent movies, were introduced. Americans followed the lives of celebrities from sports stars like Baby Ruth and pillars like Charles Rendevans and Amelia Asa. Non-stop flight, New York to Paris. Non-stop flight, New York to Paris. First female across to Atlantic Ocean. Women were voting, were better educated, and were working, still mostly nurses, teachers, secretaries, and clerks. Women called flappers. Flappers wore their hair and skirts short to rebel against the traditional ideas of ladylike behavior. Other new aspects of popular culture were art deco, architecture, crossword puzzle, and dance like the Charleston. Music was a big part of pop culture, specialized jazz. Jazz originated in New Orleans. It was influenced by African American music and it's a truly American art form. This decade is also called the Jazz Age. The Harlem Renaissance. During World War I, many African Americans moved from the South to the North to work in factories in the Great Immigration. African Americans brought jazz and blues in them to the North. Don't confuse with the Great Immigration from England to the present-day U.S. from 1629 to 1640. The Great Migration was met with resistance, especially by the KKK, which was no longer limited to the South. To fight back, organizations like the NAACP worked to secure civil rights. Reformer Marcus Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association (UNIA) and devoted a large-scale return to Africa. The plan fell short, but he did encourage black nationalism and a sense of African American racial dignity. The KK was virtually wiped out after the Force Act under the Grant administration. He returned after D.W. Griffith released his film The Birth of a Nation, which portrayed the KKK as heroic. African American communities thrived in New York City's Harlem, a neighborhood where overdevelopment had driven down the price of real estate. Harlem became home to many artists and gave rise to the Harlem Renaissance, a movement of vibrant intellectual and artistic development. Manhattan, Harlem, Duke Ellington. Prominent names of this movement include writers like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston, and jazz artists such as Duke Ellington. African Americans weren't the only minority group fighting for their civil rights in the 1920s. The League of the United Latin American Citizens (LULAC) was founded, and the Indian Citizenship Act granted full citizenship to Native Americans was passed. Backlash. Rapid modernization also created a backlash, especially in rural areas. More nepotism. The Emergency Quota Act of 1921 and the National Origins Act of 1924 set limit the number of the immigrants who could come to the U.S. Fundamentalism. This religious movement centered on the belief in a literal interpretation of the Bible, particularly regarding creationism. The belief that man was created by God exactly as described in the Judeo-Christian Bible. In 1925, a teacher named John Scopes broke Tennessee law by teaching his students about evolution. During his trial, the Scopes monkey trial, Williams Jennings Bryan represented the prosecution of Clarence Dewey, and the American Civil Liberty Union defends the Scopes. Scopes was originally found guilty of violating the law, but the state Supreme Court overturned the ruling of technicality, a small detail. The law itself was eventually ruled unconstitutional. However, it was not repealed until 1967. Prohibition, a ban of alcohol, began in 1920. It was hard to enforce because people couldn't make their own alcohol and buy it in underground bars called speakeasy, a place to drink illegally. Outlaws known as bootleggers also smuggled alcohol. Some worked with gangsters like Al Capone. Prohibition made organized crime worse. It was repealed by the 21st Amendment in 1933. The Lost Generation. Maybe well-educated and creative people, including writers like Ernest Hemingway and Scott Fitzgerald. The Great Garbage, 1925, grew disenchanted disillusioned, disappointed with the violence of World War I, consumerism, and the US in general. Many lived as expatriates. Expatriate, someone who chooses not to live in his home country.